Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, Patreon, and anything else I'll go about on Twitter X. Yes, I did manage to publish a Death Stranding episode, and tomorrow we'll have another one. Um, Other than that, got all my content here on the main page of the channel as usual in playlists. So let's get going. We've been having a little bit more kind of an update regarding Chinese made GPUs. This case is Lisuan 7G100 GPU. At first, again, as an overall take here, again, when do you have this kind of restrictions and you basically try to push domestic production of these products again at first kind of like what happened with Intel on the Arc stuff there, even though they had already had an history of the CPU stuff there and previous even though it was a huge gap in terms of GPUs themselves. Again, you'll always get the first couple of tries not hitting the top end to be competitive with the 59 or something like that. But it's interesting that it seems that they are going about in an interesting way here. This specific GPU, at first, it didn't went very well in terms of at least synthetic benchmarks here. Even though they have their own architect self-developed architecture that supports everything. So DirectX 12, sorry, Vulkan 1.3, OpenGL and OpenCL and all that jazz. And from this new OpenCL score here, which goes in line in being something between a 2080 Super and competing again, at least with the Intel Arc A770. It's interesting that it seems to be pretty kind of run-of-the-mill GPU. Again, it has 48 compute units. In terms of frequency, it's not that much. And again, only 12 gigabytes of memory. I'm not sure what kind of memory it is. I assume GDDR6 because it's the cheapest one. But even so, the thing is paired with the AM5 platform. So the Ryzen is 7600 there, and the system has only 16 gigabytes of DDR5 there at transfer rates not even 5000, so 47 around 4800 mega transfers there. Again, it seems to be aimed for kind of a low end GPU, and I think that's the way they should approach there. I don't think they should approach everything to. Again, they should aim for the moon, but again, they have to be realistic regarding this, given that it is a completely supposedly different architecture from being seen from NVIDIA or even AMD, and it will take a little bit of time there. And to a certain extent, the fact that we have this kind of restrictions as an overall strategy, I don't know what kind of strategy is that, but the fact that there is a lot of restrictions from other countries to allow certain products, in this case GPUs, in the Chinese market, again, their own domestic companies, and I'm assuming the government is involving that in giving resources and money and to develop everything in house as much as they can. They will eventually, if you continue with this kind of strategy, they will eventually will catch up, and because they have let's say, I suppose, a national interest of developing this because it's technology, high-end technology that can be used for multiple uses. And the fact that you see other companies, they are not Chinese, there is a restriction on those products inside of the domestic market. And given that Chinese market is basically the biggest market in the world, again, there is some kind of demand for this. And given that if it is a domestic product made basically for the Chinese population, I think it might sell well or better than the other companies there. It's one of those things that, in the overall scheme of things, Probably we'll see improvements here, even if they launch there. We got I completely forgot the name of the brand, the Maxim or something like that. They were doing their own GPU. Again, I don't remember the company. It was not that good. It didn't perform that well. But then again, it only reinforces the strategy of the overall strategy of the Chinese, I don't know, government market of putting their bets in a lot of places and see what can people come up with, and then if when they discover something that it's good for them, they will double down on something that it's good, and probably try to pull more resources from other companies that didn't do well to try and, I don't know, do something in launching a good product. And I think this is what is going to happen in this instance. They will start up kind of like Intel did in the last thing with Alchemist, launching kind of a basic entry level to almost middle tier GPU, and then fine tune that. And after fine tuning that architecture, probably will start to scale up to bigger and better GPUs. At least that's my perception on the overall strategy. Again, it's not something that is going to be done in a couple of months. It will take some years there. But again, when then you have a good products that are can be made domestically, Nvidias and probably AMDs of the world, and of course Intels of the world, in terms of, in this case, the GPU stuff, they will lose the market of Chinese of the Chinese people, because again, as you might think, it's preferable if we have something that it's made in house domestically. There's certain, and if it performs as well or roundabout the same as the competition from outside of the country, I think people will always have an interest in invest and buy stuff that it's domestic made. The same thing can be said from the point of view of American market. If it is American company doing American stuff, there's always going to be a preference for that, and it can be said with any kind of company in any kind of national market. But yeah, that's my overall take there. Again, for me, if they can manage to launch something that it's comparable in terms of performance with any kind of NVIDIA, AMD, and even Intel, again, the more competition there is, the better it's going to be for us as consumers. Continuing with hardware stuff, got now SQ Hynix, which, as an aside, I think they are launching their own products specifically on the oh my god, not memory, not only memory, the oh my god, SSDs, sorry, and sorry, and VMe SSDs. They are seem pretty good, because again, even on Samsung SSDs and other brands, usually the modules and the chips are made from SQ Hynix, so there is always that. But yeah, they are working more now, also not only on GDDR7 but also HBM4, which is high bandwidth memory for the AI accelerators. And yeah, they also announcing that they are working on 24 gigabyte GDDR7 memory modules, which will be used again. I don't know, next gen GPUs there. We'll have to wait and see. And there is also on the department of the gigabytes per second, so the memory bandwidth. They are seeing we hopefully see uplifts in the speed there, reaching 30 plus gigabytes per second, which at the moment I think it's 21, if not mistaken. Okay, between, yeah, GDR7 supposedly can achieve between 28 and 42. At this moment, the 5090 reach, I think, around 28, or I think they have the 30 gigabytes one. But we might seeing something on the next generation, if the thing is going good, of achieving around about 32, 34, I don't know. Kind of similar as I explored yesterday with the DDR5 memory, the mega transfers. Again, the fact that we'll be seeing, for example, on the next DDR6, we'll be seeing a huge amount of uplifts in terms of mega transfers. I don't know how that will be made in terms of for example, gaming uplifts in terms of performance or even other workloads there. But yeah, something good that they are working here. Hopefully, Samsung can keep up with SQ Hynix and Micron, I think, with this thing, so everybody can take a little bit share of the pie there. And at the end, as I said, the more competition, the better it is for us. Then we got again Lisa Su, AMD CEO. She was on a talk, kind of an event there, and she talked about the production, American production on chips, especially from TSMC operations in United States. And it says that at this moment it's 20% more expensive compared to what it's available in Taiwan. And again, it's one of those things in terms of manufacturing capabilities overall. United States, since I don't know, late 80s, beginning of the 90s, start transferring basically everything production wise to Chinese markets and to other markets. All their basically all of their manufacturing operations, and specifically on the high-end chip. Again, Taiwan, given that there is a lot of years of experience, infrastructure already set up there. When you start doing this on other markets that are not that well adapted at this point in time, which it's the case of US market, I think it can be good because again, if you put all the eggs in one basket, usually that's not the best long-term strategy. But then again, as adoptions of new technologies or anything of the sort, you will always get early bird cost adoption there. And to a certain extent, this is what's happening at this moment in time. Again, one of the main reasons that the fact at this moment the production costs from US factories or manufacturing factories is mainly the fact that you have to set up the infrastructure itself, so build factories from the ground up, the moving of the equipment, having also the supply chains starting getting and deliver the stuff to those factories, the labor cost, because again, you don't have already a structure assembled to already have this kind of qualified handwork or labor for this specific work. It will cost more because again, if the skilled labor, sorry, is not already native in that country, you have to bring people out of their own countries to work there, so you have to pay a little bit extra to compensate that and all that jazz. But I'm assuming if everything goes well, and it seems to be going well in the sense that again, some companies are willing to accept this little extra cost of manufacturing for whatever they need to do there. Given that again in Taiwan, TSMC have their manufacturing lines completely full, so there is that that thing there also, and that's why they are also accepting a little bit of higher risk, going through paying a little bit extra but having more inventory there. But at the end, if everything goes well, you will start seeing the production costs being more competitive with the time, in this case, TSMC in Taiwan, mainly because then you start creating again the supply chains are in place there. It's going to be something that is going to occur on a regular basis. Even the sorry the labor that is qualified there will start forming more people in that specified labor that it needs to be done. So again, there's going to be starting a new infrastructure, and eventually the prices will come down a little bit more and probably doing a little bit more competitive with TSMC. But yeah, it's one of those things that again, trying to open up in new markets always has an associated cost, because there is usually not a lot of infrastructure associated with that industry that was already kind of in place, or everything had to be built from the ground up, which is something interesting to see. Hopefully, again, the more the merrier, because then if we have more product there that it can be manufactured, again, the demand will start to be satisfied by the production, and prices will tend to be a little bit lower, hopefully, as in the final product. On the other stuff there, in terms of gaming, seems to be that Sony Group Corporation and Bandai Namco are signing a strategic partnership. It seems that this one is more in line for anime and oh my god, anime and manga around the world. So kind of a strategy partnership here. Again, it's not. It's something that it's not unusual, specifically between Japanese companies. They tend to, in certain aspects, try to build this kind of strategic partnerships. In this case, is Bandai Namco with their own IPs trying to take advantage of the platform that Sony has in terms of distribution and all that jazz, and again some other resources there that can be taken advantage of to distribute all of this. Again, we will have to wait and see how this will go regarding payment processor stuff there. I think this is going to get kind of solved one way or the other. But yeah, it's something that it's only 2.5% take of Sony from Bandai Namco in terms of shares. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. But again, I think it is trying to take advantage. Bandai Namco is trying to take advantage of their own IPs and use Sony platform in terms of distribution, and they also their expertise regarding that field there. In terms of collaborations, and again, probably some in between or some IPs can mingle between each other with some collaborations. But yeah, it's something that it's interesting to see there. Then we got again this $80 game stuff there seems to be taking a little bit of a backtrack for the moment being. Be seeing that Xbox was supposedly to start launching a lot of games at $80 by the end of this year. I think we have Battlefield 6 was announced and supposedly will cost $80 also, but I'm not sure about that. But the latest one to cave to the pressure seemingly is Outer Worlds 2. Now it's not $80, it's $70 at this moment now. They made the official decision to that. And again, it's still, I think it might be a little bit more expensive than it should be. Again, two takes from this is if it is kind of at the same quality as the first one, I think he should reduce to I don't know, $60 kind of price point there, or try to aim for that. Mainly because the way that the scope of the first one and all that jazz, unless this is something that tries to expand even more what they did with the first, even though I didn't play the first, but the sense that I got, it could be explored a little bit better in terms of expansion of the world itself and the lore. But yeah, I'm not sure if even at $70 it will sell very well. Again, this is from Obsidian Entertainment, which are part of the Xbox first party studios. So we will come Game Pass day one. So the sales themselves are not going to be that good for sure. But I think one of the strategies, if there is one there from Xbox, of putting these games at $80 is to try to compensate the fact that they are not making enough revenue from the Game Pass system on these games that come out on Game Pass day one. I think it's a huge mistake trying to take advantage to, even with their first party game studios, to put everything Game Pass day one. Again, I think the strategy similar to the PlayStation is a preferred one. Because then you can kind of force players to, if they really want to buy the game when it comes out, they buy the full price, and then maybe, I don't know, put it between 3 to 6 months delay on Game Pass launching that game launching on that service, because it doesn't make any sense in terms of the company, in terms of revenue, the life cycle of the games. Again, you're losing full price games, and again, if you increase the dollar wise the price of the product, which is in this case supposedly $80, to try and compensate the fact that when it comes on day one pass on Game Pass on day one, to try and compensate that, people will go eventually to the Game Pass subscription if they really want to play that game. You are not going to attain a lot of more um, new subscribers to that service just by the fact, for example, the Naruto Worlds 2 is not a hugely well-known IP. And even when you do that with the bigger IPs, people already are there that really want to play the big IP names on the Game Pass. They already been there. I don't see a lot of more space for growth unless there is again even though for the subscriber is it's a big deal because again you got a lot of these big name IPs and even these kind of games that supposedly should cost $80 or $70, you can have it play it for free on Game Pass. Again, for the company itself, I don't think it works long term. I think they should start to approach, be honest, be upfront, and said, okay, we need to revamp this thing here. As things as they are, we will stay it that way, but the new releases will take, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, depending if they are big or not. IPs, at least from first party studios, we'll start putting them, I don't know, give it, or I think every game that comes launch, I think they should be delayed to 3 to 6 months to let that game sell as much as it can throughout those 3 to 6 months. Because again, if you already have a good amount of games on Game Pass, I think people will be entertained there and can wait the 3 to 6 months until that game comes to Game Pass, in this case for that service specific. And people that don't have and just buy, I don't know, a couple of games per year, or I don't know, a handful of games per year. If they really want to play it, they can try and, I don't know, make that sale of the full price game. Again, it's I don't have the numbers. I'm not inside of the companies, and to have access to the numbers of the possibilities of how you can approach this. And even if there is a possibility of putting games on day one on Game Pass, I think you have I don't know, something as a God tier kind of service there. But then you start fragmenting the service itself too much, and I don't think it compensates because it starts to get a lot of confusing for the customers themselves. But yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about this one. But I want to wrap up here with this new Cronos, the New Dawn extended gameplay. This again, I don't know if it is on the beginning of the game, middle game, or end game, but I'm assuming it's kind of a beginning of the game. It seems Sector A0. Again, around about 10 minutes or so of gameplay. I really do like what they're trying to do here. Some gravity manipulation there. I paused it throughout the things when they go through the menus and try to check. There is some upgrades there, some I know fabrication menus where you can fabricate things for the survival stuff there. Gameplay seems very fluid. Not a lot of edits. I think they cut out on the edit part some parts that might be spoilery. I'm not sure. But you get a good sense of how this game will be played in terms of between the horror side of things. Very interesting stuff they're doing there. Some gravity manipulation, some time stuff there that is also happening there. They didn't delve too much on the lore there. Again, I think to avoid spoilers. But yeah, very interesting. Seems very fluid, even though it's on Real Engine 5. I didn't see, at least I didn't notice on the gameplay. Again, might be some compression of stuff there from YouTube. I didn't notice any kind of problems in terms of optimization. Bluebird team already works with Unreal Engine for some years now, so I think they are pretty tuned in how to optimize games for Unreal Engine. And again, it seems kind of areas. Each mission you have like an area which is kind of linear, but it seems that you can kind of side explore stuff there. It seems that's the sense that I got, even though again the gameplay itself goes through the main course per se, but it seems that you can kind of explore for resources and all that jazz. But yeah, it seems pretty good the way it plays. Feels solid. At least that's the sense that I got there. But yeah, I do recommend if you catch up here and get a better sense of what this game is going to be there. But yeah, this is what I got in terms of news for today. Let's go for some gaming deals. We still have Plague Tale Innocence and Plague Tale Requiem on sale as a bundle, or each individual game also. We got also Atomic Heart is still on sale, 70% off in all editions of the game. We got Art Space Shipbreaker, 75% off. We got Jusant, 55% off. Again, I do recommend this game, especially at this price point. I did a gameplay series of this game. You can check out the first couple episodes to have a sense what this game is about. We got Liza P, or still around about a day or so, 50% off, and then 33% with the DLC included. We got No Man's Sky, 60% off, 20 plus content updates that completely transform the game for the better. And also we got Pacific Drive, 50% off on the base game. And lastly, we got Warworld. It's not on sale, but even at its full price, which is very cheap, again, €7 plus the one thing, the one that I recommend also, Deep Threat, around €3 or so. Again, this is DLC, expands a little bit on the story, gets some more upgrades unlocked, and some boss combat there. Again, if you like this kind of games, this is a game for you. You will get entertained. It took me around 40 hours or so to do everything that I wanted to do on the game. So I think it's a pretty good experience here. I do recommend this game even at full price because it's so cheap. But yeah, I'll wrap up here with the Plug My Patreon as usual. For extra support, the extra support is more in line for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Now we'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.